and we are here to make blockchain a little bit more easy for students. And also we opened a blockchain summer internship school, which is online, and then you already know. We started with a 1-week blockchain session, and also we are inviting several experts on different fields, on different technologies. So here we are, and as a founder and CEO of Kame, welcome to our session. That's it. So microphone is
all
open
right.
to you then.
Let me share my screen.
Yep.
There we go. Can everybody see? I can't see if you can see.
Yeah, it is okay.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for spending some time this evening with me. We're going to talk about blockchain and gaming. The agenda will be, I'm going to talk for a little bit, then I want to have some discussion with you, and we'll finish with the Q&A. Throughout this evening, please ask me questions as you have them. My goal here is to be to help you understand what I see. So actually, to that end, I'm going to start by talking a little bit about me first. From 2009 to 2011, I was an ESL and college prep teacher in Istanbul. First year was in Gebze, and second year was at Dershanes all around Istanbul. From 2012 to 2018, product management back here in the US, all in Los Angeles. And from December 2018 until the present, I've been the founder of what would become Kame GG. So throughout 2019, my co-founder and I went to a lot of different conferences and hackathons. Our first gaming project that we did with blockchain was at ETH Denver last February, where we focused on making, improving the usability of games on Ethereum dramatically. We built a bunch of different applications in order to smooth out basically eliminate the need for a MetaMask wallet and lower the block times in order to allow a response time from the blockchain that would be appropriate for gaming. And a lot of people started copying our patterns. This is when we first used Quorum and how I eventually would wind up meeting Millie. Later, at the end of last year, when we got closer to figuring out what Kame actually would be, we went to TwitchCon and went to their hackathon and brought blockchain with us to their hackathon. I'm just going to talk a very little about what I do with my company. And again, my goal is to be an expert about blockchain and gaming as a whole. So I don't want to talk about Kame too much unless you have questions. So what we do is we have collectibles for participating with the streamer. So we're currently focused on Twitch TV. When users who are watching the streamer have certain types of transactional interactions, our system sends a blockchain collectible to them automatically. Inside those collectibles, we can embed any kind of reward. So right now, we're primarily giving away game keys, but we intend to start putting other types of digital content inside of our collectibles. And also tracking usage of content. So in addition to just putting game keys inside of our collectibles, they might also be able to, or they will allow people who are distributing those prizes, the companies that want to distribute those prizes can actually use it as an advertisement in addition to just being a reward system. So that's it about Kame. Let's get into the talk. So what can blockchain add to gaming? Actually, I'm really curious, and I guess no one has their cameras on. Trying to look for chat here. But I'm curious, how many of you would consider yourselves gamers, or enjoy playing some PES at the cafe or whatever. If you want to just type in chat and let me know.
Well,
Version of.
we were discussing this on our Slack channel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then everyone was actually used to be a gamer, I guess. But
Okay.
since they are now computer science students, I don't think that they can have a lot of time to play.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Of course.
I think there are lots of people around us, and
Okay.
so since they are university students still,
Yeah.
they are really familiar about that, and also we are looking for projects to POCs, like small projects, to apply
Yeah.
our knowledge, blockchain knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
to graduate these students. So
Okay.
it would be great if we have at least, a general knowledge or idea about how blockchain is actually added to gaming. And
Yeah.
as you already type in, so it will be great. I guess there's still people writing on RPG games, FIFA.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comments, everyone. Yeah, so RPG games, that's personally what I loved. I actually stopped playing games for, basically when I started college, and only started playing again in the middle of last year, for the same reason as the rest of you, I'm sure. So what can blockchain add to gaming? This is a really interesting question right now, because there are many blockchain gaming companies, but the question of what blockchain actually adds is, does it add entertainment value? Right now, it's a little early to say that there's exciting games that use blockchain, but the two biggest things that blockchain can add to gaming are trustless ownership and licensing. And this is just like anything else in blockchain, just the ability to demonstrate that I own this particular item in a digital space where we need artificial scarcity. And the second thing, and this is more interesting to me and I think more unexplored, but we're going to talk about one really good example. Having ownership and licensing on the blockchain allows us to have perpetual auctions on all kinds of digital goods. And an auction in a lot of ways is a kind of a game in itself. And especially, in my mind, I like to think about like a leaderboard. Someone's trying to get the highest score on something. That's actually really similar to an auction where a price can go up, the leaderboard goes up. I guess in an auction, the price can also come down a lot simpler than just, you can't reduce the points on a leaderboard generally. But auctions are games. And we'll come back to this in a minute. But that's overall, the bottom line is that the two most important things that blockchain can bring to gaming are keeping track of who owns what in the digital space, and being able to add really dynamic pricing features into all the different digital properties. Some trends that I see right now in blockchain gaming, obviously collectibles. Has everyone actually, have you heard of CryptoKitties? Can everyone just maybe type an example or two that you do know of in the blockchain gaming space, if you know of any at all? Yes. So CryptoKitties is kind of one of the original Ethereum-based blockchain collectible projects. Okay. So, all right, looks like we got a mixed reaction here. So, CryptoKitties is one of the first major projects to use the ERC721 blockchain standard for their collectibles. This is a little technical, but there are different types of. So you may know that, you probably know that generally in blockchain, everything is tracked through some kind of token. There are many different types of token, and in Ethereum, there are particular standards that the community has settled around to define what that token is. So in Ethereum, ERC20 is kind of the basic, very simple coin, like something you might trade in a marketplace. Like DAI or multi-collateral DAI are both ERC20 coins. In gaming, we tend to see non-fungible tokens primarily, which means tokens that you can't just spend right away, but they're more tradable and collectible. So what we do see mostly right now is collectibles. CryptoKitties is the original. I will, later on, I'll type the link to this website in the chat. But it's, how does it work? It basically new CryptoKitties are discovered all the time, and you can purchase them from a marketplace and trade them with your friends. That collectible does get extended though by other games that we have seen. If anyone has ever played a collectible card game like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon or Magic the Gathering, there are a couple of big, oh, thank you for that, Millie. There are a couple of big games that use that collectible card game system as well so where the cards themselves are collectible, just like as if you were opening a pack of cards in real life. Another one is property. So crypto voxels is a good example of property. And actually, let's take a look at, I think I have their website pulled up here. Yes. So crypto voxels is basically a knockoff, it's a very complementary project to Minecraft. It's a three-dimensional block design game. And people make different creations in here. And the crux of crypto voxels, so it's a 3D environment. Hopefully you can all see my screen. I think you can. A 3D environment, artists or players can construct their own space, and the blockchain is used to sell plots of land in a virtual city in crypto voxels. Okay, thank you, Yasin. So property. So basically collectibles and property. Oh, here's the map. This is kind of cool. So this is the crypto voxels overland. I wonder if I guess this map doesn't show necessarily who owns each plot, but each of these plots in the virtual district have been purchased at auction or will be available for auction at some point. So right now what we see, trends in blockchain gaming, it's really very similar to the real world where, we're just using blockchain to keep track of what we own. So, and again, like the games that exist currently tend to be most of them are proofs of concept to exhibit that it is possible to have a digital collectible or own the title to a digital plot of land. It's kind of still a little bit generous to call some of these a game even because there's not necessarily an aspect of competition to a lot of these projects. When it comes to blockchain, there's some really severe complications still for using the blockchain. You might remember that architecture diagram that I showed at the very beginning of this seminar. Oh, question. So you are buying virtual districts as a value for trade or something else? We'll just come back here. So in this, in crypto voxels, each of these squares is literally a plot of land that you can build whatever you wish on. And so they've just purchased from the crypto voxels company the deed or the title to that plot of land, and they've created, spaces like these. One of the coolest thing about crypto voxels is that it does work in VR. Anyway, back to presentation. So complications, there's some severe complications that require people to build a lot of stuff. So obviously block times, you know, games, I prefer my games to move quickly. I prefer to not wait 2 minutes to understand if I did or did not make a goal or score a point. So block times can be quite a complication. Block sizes, if you are running your blocks, for example, in our context, we use Quorum as our own chain. We operate a consortium on our side. We can set the block times really low, but then we wind up with tons and tons of data in our database. Network latency is actually a really big separate issue for blockchain gaming. If you want to support players from, if you want your transactions that occur in the game to pass anywhere in the world, the delay can be incredible. And audience apathy actually is probably one of the biggest. At TwitchCon 2019, there was a large display floor. All the regular games. Melibe, I'll come back to that question about clique consensus later on. So audience apathy. Oh yeah, at TwitchCon 2019, there was a large expo floor. All the major publishers and hardware manufacturers were there. There was a large booth for Horizon blockchain games that was pretty empty. And as you look at these projects, you can see that there are people using them, but there's not, you know, the activity that you do see in the larger titles like Fortnite or even PES or whatever. So the solution to a lot of these problems that will be around in the next probably 1 to 3 years will just be new chains. So Forte is a really big gaming blockchain that is still so new there are not many details. Flow is another one that comes from the makers of CryptoKitties. And Polkadot, Polkadot and Cosmos will each have their own gaming zones of their different types that exist in those ecosystems. So in the very near future, I believe that we'll see many different blockchains that are focused on supporting 1 to 3 different titles. And those will eventually get probably consolidated over time. I'm going to talk about my favorite blockchain game that I have seen so far. So my good friend Billy Renenkamp built Clovers. And this Clovers is an extremely powerful demonstration of the way that blockchain can change gaming. Unfortunately, it looks like his image CDN is down today. I'll type in at some point, hopefully it will come back and we can all try this out. But Clovers is a game in which everyone who is participating can log in with MetaMask, and then they have the option to turn on a miner in their browser. But they actually, each participant actually mines the game itself. By that I mean they're not running a hash, they're not running an encryption algorithm or anything like that. They are simply simulating games of Othello, or maybe known as Parcheesi. I can't remember. I don't know what the name of this is in Turkey, but it's a grid game where they do hops. Anyway, it's a 10 by 10 grid, I believe. So the browser simulates many hundreds of thousands of games, and when each game has reached its end state, the browser checks the board for symmetricality. So in my example here, you can see that there's a diagonal symmetry. And in this game, so if it has a diagonal symmetry, that's the most common and has the lowest value. If it has, it can have horizontal and it can have vertical symmetry. And if it has more than one of those, it becomes more rare and valued higher. So everyone has equal chances of simulating these games. and reaching any kind of end board state. And so everyone has an equal chance of achieving the same outcome, and then you could win something like pretty rare. If you get a clover with 3 degrees of symmetry, that actually becomes quite a hot commodity. It was when the project was active. And then there's a market for these. So I hope that made sense to everybody. I couldn't find a video of it, and I couldn't find the website is not working right now. But what I like about clovers is that it shows that there are more dimensions to mining than simply, running a block producing algorithm. The game itself can be something where users participate in solving the overall, the state tree of the game itself becomes the problem set, which is exciting on its own, but I'm a super nerd. And then the ability for everyone who's participating to begin creating the virtual good that actually has the value. We looked at crypto voxels where we saw people who were building rooms or artworks or 3D things using their creativity. But in clovers, everyone is contributing to create things using their computing power. And that's really exciting. And of course, then making them all tradable. My co-founder actually I think he made about $70 in Ethereum just from trading clovers in the first couple weeks this project was out. Excuse me. So trends to watch in gaming. Oh yeah, we're gonna last slide and then we'll go to discussion a little bit. Thank you, Anis. So trends to watch in gaming. This is just in general overall, not specifically related to blockchain, but I want to talk about these a little bit before we do discussion and Q&A. So spectacle gaming or esports, especially after COVID began, this is going to be huge. And that's includes both the possibility of having stadiums again full of people watching professional gamers, but more likely, many small events occurring all the time everywhere throughout the world watched over streaming services. But spectacle gaming is going to be big in a way that it was not when I was playing games as a child. Staking and predictions, this is the most relevant to blockchain, I think, from this list. Opening up the ability for anybody to put, so staking is a polite word for gambling. Predictions are different predictions, but you see how they might be similar. These are going to happen all over the place. In fact, even games that are not based on the blockchain will probably wind up having staking or prediction-based systems for who will win on the blockchain somehow. AR gaming is going to be big. I think everyone can understand that. And collective gaming. This is another thing that I think is very exciting for people in this space. Collective gaming is, if we think about an audience watching someone play a game, we might also have an audience all working together to play a particular game. Last year, I was on a really great team. We built a software that allowed teams to choose if they wanted to have a dictatorship or a democracy. And then those teams were able to use that type of government to play chess against each other, or also govern one of the open AI bots that plays StarCraft. So everyone had an equal vote. In democracy, everyone had an equal vote on which move to make next. In dictatorship, whoever held the seat got to make the play. But that let people, choose both their decision making and play together. Other examples that we've seen are like, thank you, John. Other examples that we've seen are Twitch plays Pokemon, where people literally Twitch chat just types in one move at a time to control the game that's being played in the RPG setting. And again, these do not necessarily specifically reference the blockchain, but these are the 4 biggest trends that will occur, and I think they will be more powerful as we use the blockchain as a technology to be neutral and help us negotiate competitive situations.